Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Grandstand Sports Data. Week 2 is in the books, and now it's time to roll into week 3. We've got fresh model projections, proven systems, and bankroll strategies lined up to help you spot value. Whether you're a new bettor trying to learn the ropes or seasoned sharp looking for an extra edge, this is where we put the numbers to work for you. So let's break down week 3 and see where that smart money is hiding.
All right, so let's jump over to the benchmark model results. And these are the results just over the last 5 years. As you can see, the model is not necessarily built to crush the spreads by any means. It's actually negative over the last 5 years. But where it really works is the money lines. And I know it doesn't show long-term profitability, but once you start finding the break-even rate for this win percentage, and the win percentage would be 62.4%, now you can start finding odds at about minus 165 because that's what the break-even rate is on that. So that will tell you your edge. So teams that are picked to win by the model and have minus 165 odds or better, that's what you'll be looking for. So that's the baseline there. On the next slide, we're going to break down exactly which teams qualified this week moving forward with this baseline. But now moving on to the totals. Totals on one category where the benchmark model actually has been profitable in the long term. It's up over 30 units in the last 5 years. So if you want us to start dedicating a weekly page to tracking those totals and then giving you the number where you can shop, let us know in the comments down below. You can also hit the like button too. That will signify to us that we can put efforts towards that. Okay, so now speaking on those results, these are the teams that actually qualified under that benchmark model, right? So you're seeing the money line parameters going into week 3. They have to be picked to win by the model and then have those minus 165 odds. Those teams just happen to be the Steelers, Texans, Chargers, 49ers, and Dallas Cowboys, all at that respective number. And remember, if you're shopping and you don't see this number, just as long as it fulfills the minus 165 or better, that will help you move forward. And that's if you're just strictly sticking to the model. Okay, so it's just sticking on to the Moneyline theme. Here are going to be the Moneyline systems going into this week. You can tell all of these have performed well historically. The color codes that you see are just comparing them to each other. They're all strong. It's just the color codes are them versus them is basically what we're trying to illustrate here. You can see in the first one, favorites on a high total with the coach and model. These odds that you see right next to it are going to signify those odds with the win percentage of 77.2. So that's what you should be shopping for or better. The teams that qualify on this strong model here, I would say strong model, strong system, would be Kansas City and Baltimore. You do have to keep in mind, though, that Kansas City's a minus 290 on the money line, and then Baltimore's a minus 230. They still have an edge. It's just that are you the type of bettor that will pull the trigger on those type of odds? That's really up to you. Next would be the rest in divisional dogs. Looking at teams at plus 100. Denver Broncos fit the bill against the Los Angeles Chargers in this matchup. Pretty strong in terms of its rate of return being in red and then orange for its units. Moving on to 620-mile rule along with the coach, and so it's really just taking out the favorites on the high total, substituting it for a team that's traveling far. Washington fits the bill here, and then San Francisco also, both money line plays if you like those two teams, and also if you like the traveling aspect of the system. So that we're not trying to tell you to play all these systems, but ones that you like or that you think heavily affect the NFL, those are the ones that you should play. Next one would be the favorites on a high total in the 620-mile rule. Odds there minus 277. Only one team fitting that bill, and that's going to be the Chargers, actually combating against this second one with Denver because they will be playing each other. And then just to round out that bottom one, we're adding the Madden feature into this, the first one that's already been basically a proven winner, in Kansas City and Baltimore again, fitting the bill for that one as well. Well, since we touched on the money lines, it's pretty good to touch on the spreads here. You can see 620-mile rule and coaching has done good in the long term. Compared to its peers here, it is about middle of the road. But the Bills, Bucks, Commanders, Seahawks, and 49ers fit the bill for the 620-mile rule and the better coach in that matchup. Favorites on a high total instead of the 620-mile rule, but keeping the coach involved there. And I'm talking, when I say coach, it's the Grandstand Sports Data coach and model. So that's what it's basically who our model has picked. We went through a video of that. We'll leave a link in the description down below. Buffalo, Kansas City, and Baltimore all coming up fitting the bill for that one as well. Third one, the blowout dog and divisional dog. These is just heavy underdogs that are playing in a divisional game. Blowout dog will be coming off of a 10-point or more loss. Tennessee fits the bill for that one. It's a pretty good indicator. And then if you filter one more factor, you add in a dog on a low total football game. These are all red performers. Tennessee fits the bill again. So now into the final one, rest and divisional dog. Denver to cover. So remember, this is the spread system. It's not a money line system. We veered away from that, moving on to the spread systems. But Denver does fit the bill for having the more rest. They have 1 day extra rest, and they are playing a division game where they happen to be the underdog. Okay, so now I told you that we were going to insert the market, and these are the market variables that we're tracking. First off, we're doing contrarian numbers, and these are built from this year and last year, while the betting percentage and money percentage are just going to be based on this season only. Now, the top row of each variable is going to signify the spreads, and then the bottom row is going to signify the money lines, and that's for both. That's for all three. Now, contrarian just means that we're fading the public. We're going against the side most bettors are on. We consider that to be 70-30. And when we mean that by that split is that 30% of bets or less we consider contrarian. So that's where we factor in that specific variable. As you can see, qualifying teams for that is Miami, Pittsburgh, Vegas, and the Rams, fitting that mold coming into this week. Next will be the bet percentage, and this is simply tracking the number of tickets. So a lot of market readers will tell you this is the public side, and the public loses a lot, right? So that's what's being shown here is those ugly results both against the spread and on the money line. It's because the public is not really good at sports betting. These are the teams that fit the bill, that have more public bets than their opponent. Moving on to the money percentage. This is going to tell us where the actual dollars are going, right? So this is probably considered sharp money is what people would say. If teams are labeled in red here, as you can see, that means the sharper money is backing the team, even though the public is not. So that means that they're showing up here, but their opponent is showing up here. The public is backing that team, but sharp is telling you a different distraction here, and that's where you find the most value. So those ones are worth watching really closely. You're talking about Indy, Houston, Arizona, and Detroit. You can see the rest of them here as well. That's where the smart money support is leaning this week. All right, so just to wrap this up, just giving you a quick disclaimer. This card is for educational purposes only. We built it together step by step using systems, benchmarks, and filters to highlight where value exists. So I'm not necessarily telling you who to bet. I'm just showing you how to spot value and those overlaps that we talked about earlier so that you can put yourself in the best position to win. So let's start with the spread picks. We got Tampa Bay at -6.5 on the spread. Home team, better coach, opponent traveling over 620 miles. And then sharp money on top of it. That's almost a no-brainer here. You have to put yourself in the best position to win. Las Vegas at +3.5. That's a sharp money is signaling that Daniels might not play in this game, and if he's out, that +3.5 becomes a very strong number. I would say even if he's playing, that's a good number because I don't think he's been playing that great. Moving on to the Rams at +3.5, that's the contrarian side and sharp money on their back, and that's exactly the kind of setup that you want on your card. Next will be Seattle at -7.5, sharp money plus a coaching edge at home with New Orleans making that long travel. I would do a little bit of a smaller stake, but it's worth a look. You know what I mean? I would even battle with pushing it down to volume better, but we'll touch on that a little bit later. Kansas City also, the favorite in a potential shootout with the better coach and sharp money. That's another must play on the board as well. Let's move on to the volume bettors now. You guys would add these as maybe a 1% play on your card. It's supported by basically, I would say Buffalo at -11.5. They're supported by two fundamental factors and sharp money, but Miami does have that contrarian edge, which kind of makes me a little bit nervous and make it a small lean or even a 1% play. Moving on to Green Bay at -7.5. That public is on Cleveland and sharp money is on Green Bay, but that's about it. Everything else is just really quiet. So maybe a very, very small wager or even just a little bit of a lean. Next will be the teams that you can get on the money line. I think Houston at 1.5, Dallas at -1.5. Let's talk about them on the money line better. Houston at +105. That's backed by the model. Sharp money on Houston. Then you get the public goes into Jacksonville a little bit. I think this is a solid play for Houston. Dallas, the model and sharp money line up on Dallas, while the public is backing Chicago. It's almost very similar to Houston. That's why you would have Dallas as a 3%. The Chargers, I kind of debated with this one. The model supports it, and also the money line system does too. Denver also qualifies with some of the fundamental edges, so it's really a split. So I'm fighting with myself to leave it as a 1% on the money lines, or even push it down to Kansas City where the volume bettors are. And Kansas City, I'm saying this, the reason why I'm putting it down here is a minus 290. I mean, the minus 290 odds, everything is signaling Kansas City in their edge on the money line. It's just, do you want to play that number? So that wraps up the spreads and the money lines and how they stack up and what separates them, apart from each other. Remember though, when you're doing your bankroll, remember the 5%, 15% rule, and you should be good. And that's going to wrap up the NFL Week 3 betting preview. Remember, this isn't about telling you who to bet. It's about walking through the systems, the numbers, and the bankroll discipline to help put you in the best position to win. So if you got value out of this breakdown, do us a favor. You can subscribe so you don't miss out on our Week 3 recap and Week 4 preview. You can like the video. Really going to help push out, our channel out to other bettors like yourself, and then drop a comment down below and let us know which systems you're tracking or if there's a matchup that you want us to spotlight in the next coming week. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.